Welcome. In this video I'm going to be going over the Mac terminal command open. So if you want to see some of my other Mac videos, I'll put a link in the description of my Mac playlist. Also, I'll put a link to my website where you can find the commands I'm typing in. So I have a sample of it over here on the left. I'll publish this later when I publish the video. But the open command allows you to open things from the terminal similar to how you would open them with your mouse. So if you can double click an icon with your mouse and open something, you can do a similar thing on the terminal. There are some similar commands on Linux that will do this. I think there's xdg open. I forget the exact name. Maybe I'll make a video on it separately. But this open command is specific to the Mac, and this open command goes back to the Next Step days too, so it's been around a long time. So the open command is simply open, and you can see some arguments here that you can type in. You can type in man space open and get the manual file, and you can read through that. There's all sorts of stuff in it. Apparently that took a while to open. There we go. So you can see the different things you can pass to it. We'll talk about a number of these. I won't talk about all of them. It also gives some examples at the bottom, and I have some similar examples to these. So I'll close out of that. So I'm going to move into my desktop directory, so I'll type cd space desktop. And this video assumes you know some things about the command line on the Mac, how to get around a little bit. But if there's anything I do on here and you don't know it, drop a comment below and I'll help you out, because I know there's people of different experience levels that watch these videos, and I want to help people out if I skipped over something that they maybe didn't know. So clear my screen here. So say I want to open a file in TextEdit, but I need to create the file first. So first I'll type touch space file.txt, and that will create a file called file.txt. So if I type ls space -l, that will list it out, and we can see this file here is blank. There's nothing in it. So if I want to open that in text editor, I can type open space -e, which I assume is for editor, and then file.txt, and that will open the file in text editor. So now you could do something with this. This is a file. I'll save it and close it. And then on the command line I can type cat file, and we can see the file there. So you can open up photos. So I'll type ls here. I have a photo called reflections, so I can type open space reflections.jpg. I'll hit enter. And here we have the photo. And this opens up in preview because that's the default app for opening up photos on my Mac. So say we want to open that in a different piece of software. So I can type open space -a space /applications /, and then I can type the name of the software. I'll type Affinity. And I have Designer down here in my notes, which would open it, but I want to use Photo. So I'll type Affinity Photo space and then reflections.jpg. So that opened in Affinity Photo now. So I'll close this. So needless to say, someone's watching this and saying, well, yeah, you can go on your desktop and double click on this or right click on it and say open with Affinity Photo. You can absolutely do that. That's no problem. But say you had a lot of photos. Let's do an example here. Let's say I say find period / space -iname space quote star.jpg quote, and we have all of these JPEGs here. And this is in this rolling time-lapse directory. And there's a bunch of photos in here. But let's say this directory was massive. Let's say there were like 8 directories here. So you could click through all those to try and find this photo here. Or you could just select it, copy it, open, space, paste that in, and now we're opening up that photo. So if you get somewhat proficient at the terminal, that's a lot faster than clicking through a complicated folder hierarchy if you can just copy and paste that and then open it. So we can also open a URL. So I have my website here. And you can put quotes around things depending on what you're doing, especially if you have an ampersand in your URL, you want quotes around it. So I'll hit enter here. We're opening up my website. You could do Google search. That did not paste in right. I'll have to fix that. I threw this together so I'd have notes for this video. There we go. So if I do this, it will search for Rick Makes on Google. I'm not going to get into it in this video, but you could create an alias where you would type something like G space Rick Makes, and it would search for that on Google for you. So you can do things like that. There are lots of options. If you get into scripting, the sky's the limit on what you can do with these commands. So you can also send the standard input. I should rename that. You're actually taking the standard input and sending it to the default text editor. So when you type ls, that outputs something, and you want to take that output and put it into TextEdit. So we'll run that, and we'll type pipe, and then open space -f. I'll hit enter, and that will open that up in the text editor. Lots of spelling errors. That always annoys me, especially when you're working with code and stuff. I always have to go in here and right click and go to spelling and just turn that off so I can read it. And that would work for all sorts of things. I have a CSV file here called test.csv. That's pretty huge. Let's see what I can do with that. I can type head space -n, and let's say I want 200 lines from that and it has a header, so I'll say 201 test.csv. So if I run that on the command line, we'll see all these lines, and I can pipe that to open space -f, and that will put it in the text editor here. And if we were to count that, it would have 200 lines. So we can also open the current directory. So I'll pull up that listing of JPEGs again. And say I had a large hierarchy here, and say this rolling time lapse was a directory I wanted to get into. So I found, say, this photo here, and I want to go into the directory that contains that. So I can actually just select this directory here, copy it, I'll say open, paste that in, and now we're opening up that rolling time-lapse directory. So if you just want to do the open directory, you do open space // and that'll open the current directory, or you can put the path. And you can also open like a hidden directory. I can't remember if library is hidden or not, but like the system library, I'll type open space / library, and that will open that. So if I right click on this here, you can see this is the library directory on Mac OS. That does show up, but there are hidden directories you can get into. And you can open them up in your Finder by using this, by just typing the name of it. Oh yeah, and I had one more sample I wanted to show here. So I'll clear this. I'll say open space -a space / applications, and then I'll do LibreOffice, and I'll do space, and then I'll do list of people.csv. So this is a subset of the test.csv. I think it's 100 names. I'll hit that enter there. It'll bring us up the text import. So here I'll say it's comma separated. I'll hit OK. And this will bring up the list here. So most of your applications are going to be in applications, but you might have some that are on system applications. So I will show that. So that's actually, let's do this. We'll say open space / system / applications. I'll hit enter. And these are your system applications. A lot of these are defaults. So if you open something up, it might open them up in this anyway. But if you changed the, say, PDF viewer from preview to something else and you want to use preview, you could reference that here. And you have like QuickTime Player and such too. So lots of applications there. So typically they'll be in the applications folder, which is this, or it will be in system applications. Now you see preview in here, so this has a link to it. But if you go on the command line, you can't say open space -a space / applications preview. That will not show up there. See, I'm trying to type it in, use tab completion, and it's not coming up. So you do need to go to systems application preview. So if you're confused at where an application is, go in your graphical user interface. So I'll go into my application folder here, and I'll look for preview. I'll right click on it, and you can say show package contents, that'll take you there. You can say new terminal at folder, that's a quick way to get there. And now that I'm here, I can type pwd, and we can see the full path there. So most of them will be in system applications or applications, but every once in a while you'll find an app that's in some other place. I think the screen sharing app is in a different place. So that would be an example. So that's how you can use the open command on Mac OS to give you graphical interface type capabilities on the terminal. And I find it very handy, especially when I'm spending a lot of time in the terminal and I just want to open a file. I don't have to go to the graphical interface to do that. I can just type open, the name, and I'm good to go. So that's all I'm going to cover in this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. If you like this video, please click like. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate it if you could do that. And thanks for watching. Until next time, goodbye.